Hello everybody, welcome to Seven Oaks Senior Center Facebook Live Cooking with Gosia. Today we'll make pierogi. Pierogi is one of the most popular dishes, probably not only in Poland but even here in the United States. Probably everyone heard about pierogi and probably most of you even tried them. So making pierogi, you can make the filling about anything. You can have them with meat, you can have them with sauerkraut, you can have them with fresh cabbage, sweet cheese, potatoes, potato, onion, and even fruits. The one with blueberries are really good and popular too. And today I'll show you how to make pierogi with potatoes and onions. So let's start. We'll start with chopping onions into fine pieces, and then we brown them a little bit. The onion will go to our potatoes mixture, and also we'll leave some for decorating and to go as a garnish on our finished pierogi plate. I have two larger onions actually. I gave you recipe and actually I'm cooking more than the recipe says. So I'll put my onions here. One more. The onion is pretty strong. It makes me tear up. One more half. Okay, and I think we are done with all the cuttings for today. Let me add some oil. And let's walk to the stove. Okay, let this thing warm up. We'll wait for the onions, but while we're doing that, we'll start working with our potatoes. I already boiled my potatoes and they are here in the pot. Now we will have to add some ingredients to it, like some sour cream, some butter, and then we'll add onions when it's done, and we'll mix it very well to make it we have to make sure they are really smooth without any pieces, any bigger pieces, very creamy. Okay. I hear sizzling, so that's great. Looks good. Okay, let's add some butter. I add like about 2 tablespoons. I would mix that now, blend it in before I add any sour cream. So you just press it down. And you want to do that when your potatoes are still warm, so the butter melts really nice. Plus it's easier to work with warm potatoes. You can use the grinder to really ground your potatoes just like you would do with meat, but that's not necessary. In the recipe, I posted one recipe with one choice with onions and the other choice with cheddar cheese. So instead of some of the ingredients, you just add shredded cheese. Usually when I make them, I shred my cheese on my own. I just buy a block of cheese and shred it straight into warm potatoes. The cheese melts really nice with potatoes, with warm potatoes. And then you just mix it, salt it, pepper, and it's good. Okay, now let me walk over here to check on my onions. Okay, let me add some sour cream. I will add like 3 tablespoons full, because I have more potatoes. I have probably like 2 pounds of potatoes. And some pepper. Salt just a little bit, because I already salted my potatoes when I boiled them, so they were salty enough. When we finish with our mixture, you have to try it if it's good, because that's your filling. If it's missing something, it will miss something. Like there's like no way you can fix it later. I think I'll switch to my spoon. It smells so nice. Let me put this away. Our onions look good too. It starts looking really nice. I'll give it 1 more minute and then we'll mix it here. Not that easy to mix with that spoon. It's pretty tough, but that's how our filling has to look. It can't be watery, so it will be very hard to mix to make our pierogi, to close them and to keep all the filling inside of them. So now I'm going to check my onions, and probably it's ready, and we'll add that to our potato mixture. Yes, it's done. So let me add some. I will leave some for my finished product at the end, and you could even fry your pierogi in that onion at the end. So let us mix now. The smell is incredible. Want to make sure everything is mixed up very well. Okay, I think we got pretty nice smooth mixture. Let me try if it's spicy enough. Yes, perfect. So we are done with this. We will put it in another bowl. And our filling is already done. Now the next step is the dough. It's a little bit tougher, but we can get through. Okay, let me leave this here. I have to pick some mess I made. Okay. Okay, as you see, it's very important to keep your workstation organized and to clean along your way, so you don't have your space too crowded and with things you don't need anymore. And also at the beginning, I like to collect everything what will be needed for cooking, so it's handy and my cooking goes smoothly. Now we'll start making the dough. So in the recipe, I ask you for 2 cups of flour. I will use a little bit more today because I want to make more pierogi than in the recipe. I'll use about 3 cups of water, 3 cups of flour. And flour is the first ingredient you add. You wait with your water. We still might need more flour. We add our egg. Let me grab a little spoon. We need some salt. Just really little bit, like half a spoon. And we need 1 to 2 tablespoons of oil. And now we add some water. I will just add a little bit and then my dough will be mixing, and as it's dry I will add more water. It's always better to add water than have too thin dough and then you have to add flour. And there's no need for more than 1 egg, because the more eggs you add, the more egg whites, the dough will be tougher and like really hard. And you want your dough to be elastic, very well done, so it's soft enough so you can use your rolling pin and roll it, or you can use the pasta roller. Like, you can basically knead that dough with your hands, but I like to use my mixer. I will add more water as I go. And at some point I will pull it, work with my hands a little bit, and you will see how it looks. Stop it. Yeah, I think we have perfect texture. I will put away things we don't need anymore, like some of the stuff we don't need. So I have more space here. Okay, and my dough is almost ready. I will pull it out and knead it with my hands. Okay, we can move mixer a little bit to the side. Okay. It depends what kind of surface you're working on. Good one is like piece of wood We call it stolnica, and lots of Polish ladies have that at home. I don't, but I use my counter. You might need some flour to put under a little bit so it doesn't stick. I have also my water on the stove and it's boiling. I will turn it down so it's ready when we need it. It will take us a little bit to get to that step, but we're not that far away. So you see, it's pretty flexible. It's not too soft, not too hard. If it's too hard, you have to add more water and work that in. Okay, so now I think I'm ready to use my rolling pin and roll my dough. I will use mixer too to just show you how to roll through the pasta dough. I'll take a small piece, and you need flour to dust it under, so when you're rolling, your dough doesn't get stuck to your counter. So it's similar like with chruściki. It's really hard work. And what I did with when I made my chruściki, and when we finished the show, I took my dough and I ran it through the pasta attachment. And we can do the same thing here. You see how nice? We'll make it a little bit thinner. The thinner the dough, the better, but you don't want to go too thin, because then the dough will fall apart and your pierogi during cooking will fall apart. Plus, taste of dough is good too. So when we have this done, that's ready, we can cut the circles. And people use different things. I have this kind of cutter. It just depends how big you want to have your pierogi. And some people use glass, and I'll use glass today, I think, because that's what I like to. It's very comfortable in my hand to hold it in my hand. So you just cut the circles, and you can make many more flat dough like that and fill, but I don't like when my dough dries. I will put some flour on my mat here where I will place my ready pierogi. I just need 1 little tablespoon. And now you place about teaspoon of mixture you're filling into your dough. Okay. Then you pick it up, you fold it in half. You have to make sure that none of the filling is sticking on the edges of your dough, because you have to close the dough really well. And we just press it along the edges. And what I do, so they look nice, I like pinch them. See, so they get that shape. Let me show you another one. Lift them. Make sure your filling is all the way in. Working with potato filling is pretty easy when you have blueberries, or when you have like sauerkraut and mushrooms. It's a little bit more tricky. So we have another one done, and one more here. You push the filling inside of it, and you just pinch it around, and then pinch it here for decoration. Now I'm grabbing my another piece of dough, and let me roll again. What's cool about the pasta attachments, like you can fold your dough and your actually pasta attachment can knead your dough for you. Like you see, we have holes now and we can just fold it, but from my experience, overworking it, it's not good either. So you have to find your perfect, like we got holes here too, so we're just gonna use like first part of it. I think we'll make 2 pieces here, and we can actually fold that dough again, and just, you can use every piece of your dough because the pasta roller will just roll everything for you, like from the smallest pieces. I'll use my first thicker piece. There you go. Let's cut maybe 2 more here. Okay. And I'll show you something else also. I have something like that to close my pierogi in. It's not my favorite thing to do, but I know lots of people do. So you place your cut circle in here, and you put your filling here in the middle, and then you just close this. Or maybe it's too much. We don't want the filling to come out. You have to make sure it's all the way in, and then you just close it. It's still too much, but maybe it will work. No, it will not. See? So now you know you cannot have filling in the middle, like sticking out. Let's do that again. Let's just put a little bit. So that's why I'm like working with just my hands. It's probably faster too. There you go. This is good now. But we have that waste of the dough around, and it's extra work to get rid of it. So there you go. Like you have to like really cut that thing out to make it look nice, and they are smaller. Actually, I prefer just filling and closing pierogi by my hand. Okay. If your dough is dry, then you need to wet the edges a little bit with water, because if it's too dry, you won't be able to close it all the way, and you don't want your filling to leak out, because all your work would go to waste. I hear my water is boiling. Let me make another one, just one more. So we have half a dozen cooked and ready. One more. Okay. You can still stretch your dough a little bit, the edges. If you put too much filling, you can, if your dough is not too thin, you can stretch the edges to make it fit. Okay, so we got some pierogi made. Now we'll go and drop them in the water. Okay, so I'm ready to boil my pierogi. We have to salt the water a little bit, and you can also add some oil to the water so the pierogi don't get sticky. But since we don't make a lot, we don't need it. Let me turn on the fan here and let me grab pierogi. And you just gently drop them into boiling water. After you drop few, I suggest you grab a wooden spoon and make sure they are not sticking to the bottom of the pot. Oh, they are floating nicely. Okay, so now we have to wait until they start boiling again, and once they after 2-3 minutes, when they come up, boil them for another 2 minutes and they are ready. Let me lower the... Okay. So as I said before, it's very important to organize your workstation. So when you have a chance, your one load of pierogi is boiling, you can clean up and start making more of them. So let me get rid of some of the pieces. When you have extra piece of dough, you want to make sure you keep it covered with foil or upside down bowl so it doesn't dry, because the dough dries very fast. See, they are already floating, so they are getting done, very close to finish. Let them boil 2 more minutes and we'll pull them out. I will put back my onion on a very low heat, so when we pull the pierogi out of the pot, the onion will be hot and then we are ready to serve. Okay, I can keep working on making more. And when you cut, you want to cut one next to each other so you don't waste your dough. Okay, we got 3 pieces. When you make extra pierogi, is good when you first cook them and then you can freeze them, and you'll have them ready for whenever you feel like eating them. I used to freeze them before cooking, but then sometimes the dough just breaks in the freezer, so it's kind of disappointing when you boil them and half of your pierogi are missing the filling. Okay. Pinching around, and then that other pinch. Okay, I think it's time for me to pull our pierogi out of the pot. I hope everyone can see what I'm doing. There you go. Let me walk to the pot. We can turn that off. Actually, we'll leave it on because we'll have more to put in. We can fry pierogi after you pull them out. You can fry them in onion and oil, or you can saute them in onion and butter. It's really up to you. You're doing what you like the best. And if you didn't try that before, you can try a few things. and then you decide what's perfect for you. Okay, last one. Let me arrange them nicely here. Like that. And our onion is sizzling. I just take a little bit and just wrap it around. You can put some oil on it too. And it's done. Half a dozen of pierogi. Who would like to try? Smacznego. Thank you for watching.